Welcome to Will It Build, the series where I take your builds from my YouTube comments and Discord server and put them to the test to see if they are the real deal. If it's solid, then I'll gift you 1,000 silver, and if it's really something special, you'll be featured in a dedicated build video for your submitted build. So comment yours below so we can answer the question, will it build? Welcome to Will It Build, your favorite build Destiny series on YouTube. We got a nice build today. We got some giveaways going on, some emblem giveaways going on. We'll talk about those in a bit. First things first, let's get right into the build. We have a build submitted by Say Zygen, sorry if I'm saying that wrong by the way, called the Immune Shield. They say, have you ever looked at a boss in an immune phase and thought that you want that? What if I told you that you could have an immune shield like a boss and also spam grenades fast enough to clear the coil completely solo? Sounds pretty enticing to me. First things first though, for this video, we will be giving away another Star Splash emblem code completely for free. I'll talk a little bit more about how to enter to get that emblem a little bit later in the video. We have the Stasis subclass on Titan. They're having us run the Strongholds exotic gloves, which if we look at the Strongholds, are all about kind of high defensive capabilities, specifically with a sword. So we see it maximizes guard stats on equipped swords. You take reduced damage while blocking with a sword, and rapidly damaging targets after blocking shots with a sword grants restoration for a duration determined by the number of shots blocked. That definitely gives us a general idea of what this exotic does, but I think it's always good to know the specifics of what your exotic does. If we come over here to the Destiny Data Compendium, we see that while we're wearing the Strongholds, we passively receive an additional 100 guard resistance, sword efficiency, and sword endurance. Additionally, while blocking, we get a base 50% damage resistance, and blocking a hit grants 2 stacks of perfect guard, up to a total of 100 stacks. Now, upon dealing sword damage while in possession of perfect guard stacks, we will get restoration ×2 for a time dependent on how many perfect guard stacks we have. So if we have as little as 1 perfect guard stack, we will receive 4 seconds of restoration ×2, whereas we can get up to 16 seconds of restoration ×2 at 100 stacks of perfect guard, which is actually the highest possible restoration ×2 buff that you can have in the entire game. It is only possible with the Strongholds exotic gauntlets. Now, for the other things that we got going on this build, like they said, we are rocking stasis. For the aspects, they are having us run cryoclasm, where after sprinting for a short while, it enables a longer and more powerful slide, and sliding into stasis crystals, like stasis crystals created from a glacier grenade, for example, or sliding into frozen targets will shatter them and any nearby frozen targets, which, remember, shatter just means that you break anything out of freeze and you deal a ton of damage to everything nearby. On the other aspect, we have Tectonic Harvest, where shattering a stasis crystal creates a stasis shard. Picking up these stasis shards will give you melee energy to both you or your allies. They are recommending the Whisper of Fissures, Shards, Torment, and Conduction. So if we look down here, Fissures, of course, increases the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal or defeat a frozen target. Obviously, that synergizes very well with Cryoclasm. We've got the Whisper of Shards, so that shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals increases the duration of the benefit, so presumably, the idea is that we're going to be spamming our Glacier Grenade to make a bunch of stasis crystals, slide through them with Cryoclasm. Breaking them will proc Whisper of Shards so that we get our grenade back a little bit more quickly so we can repeat the process. And Fissures is going to make those explosions even bigger so that we do even more damage and kill more stuff. We've also got the Whisper of Torment so that we gain grenade energy every time we take damage from targets, so we get even more grenades. And then we've got the Whisper of Conduction so that all nearby stasis shards that we generate will automatically track to our position. That synergizes very well with Tectonic Harvest. Now, for the abilities, that we have got our Jump of Choice in the Glacier Grenade. We kind of already obviously went through that, why Glacier Grenade is going to be important. And for weapons, they're recommending we rock Risk Runner and our favorite legendary sword. So I'm actually going with a non-aggressive frame sword, so I'm only getting that 90% bonus damage resistance from Stronghold blocking as opposed to the 95, but I still think we're going to be completely fine. Thinking this is a little bit of an interesting pick for this build, so we're going to see their reasoning behind that. First things first though, they're telling us what to do for armor mods. We have double grenade kickstart, so we can get more grenades off right there. They are also recommending we go elemental charge and stacks on stacks. Elemental charge, of course, will give you a stack of armor charge when you pick up, depending on whatever subclass you're running, whatever collectible, whatever pickup exists for that. In our case, stasis shards will eventually give us a stack of armor charge, and stacks on stacks makes it so that every time we get an armor charge, we actually get 2 stacks. So that's going to feel really, really nice. And they're also recommending that we run resists based on the activity. They don't really mention what we should run for the class item or for the helmet, so I'm just taking the liberty of going with an arc siphon since they recommended risk runner for us along with a heavy ammo finder. Then on the chest, I'm rocking with a charged up because since we're working in multiples of 2 when it comes to armor charges, thanks to stacks on stacks, we probably want our max capacity to be 4 instead of 3. And then I'll probably just go ahead and rock with an arc resistance, and then maybe we'll say a void resistance. And on the class item, I'm probably just going to go with Reaper so I can make an orb after I get a weapon kill. After I cast my class ability, I'll go powerful attraction so I can scoop up all the orbs when I cast it, and I'll go bomber so I can have a little bit more grenade energy. Now, finally on their post, they say risk runner may seem like an odd choice, but there is a method to their madness. The arc conductor buff, which remember is the exotic perk that you get from risk runner, and if we come over here into exotic weapons, we can see that arc conductor will give us 50% damage resistance towards arc whenever we have it up. They say is still acquired when taking arc damage, even if you're not holding risk runner, which grants extra damage resistance to arc specifically for free. They say don't ever stop blocking unless you're getting restoration ×2 from strongholds or utilizing our grenade. So that's the entire build that they've got set up for us. I'm definitely excited to try it and definitely excited to see how the risk runner works out and feel like I literally have an immune shield in Destiny. But real quick, let's talk about a setup upgrade that you deserve. When I was a console gamer, I thought PCs were just a fad, but after 10 years of gaming on one, I have never looked back. With a PC, you just get way more storage space, significantly higher frame rates, and much better performance. So why not treat yourself to a Starforge system, the best PCs in the universe, built at premium quality and with a full 2-year warranty. Head to my link in the description to go buy yours now so you can thank yourself later. As far as entering in to potentially win the Star Splash emblem, ooh, I like that. Okay. Favorite raid boss. Let's go with that. So to enter in to potentially win the Star Splash emblem, all you have to do is like the video, be subscribed to the channel, and comment down below what your favorite raid boss in all of Destiny history is. Could be from D1, could be from D2, could be any raid boss whatsoever, to just basically be a MMO tank in the true sense where I'm like soaking aggro from the bosses so that they're blasting me and I'm not taking any damage whatsoever because I just have so many resistances from my blocking. And I have this crystal left right here so I can shoot it, increase the timer of that again. Always want to make sure you're shooting those crystals so you can have maximum grenade uptime. Not only because it allows you to do a pretty solid job killing enemies, dealing a lot of AoE damage, but it also can be used as like a defensive tool, right? So for example, if I am having a lot of enemies push me, I can just throw it down just like that to completely cut off that angle, and then I can use it as basically a makeshift barricade while I shoot everything else. And then, of course, when I'm ready, I can go ahead and slide right through it, completely whiff that guy. And now that I'm getting a little weak, let's pull out the sword and see how the damage resistance works. Pretty much taking 0 damage whatsoever, and I'm getting those perfect guard stacks to go up. And so I think once I get enough perfect guard stacks, I can go ahead and swing at something. That'll convert the stacks into restoration ×2. And you're borderline unkillable in literally any piece of content when you have restoration ×2 up. So I think that's kind of how we're going to want to play it. Let's go ahead and throw a glacier grenade down, slide on through. The glacier grenade feels really, really good. I like that a lot. Some supplicants. Okay, the supplicant exploding does 0 damage to me. That is pretty funny. I want to see how well I can soak the damage from the Hydra if I just like sit here and stare at it. Over here, can I boost jump while I'm blocked? Oh, I can. Oh, I'm taking, it's 0 damage. The damage is actually 0. Yo, wait a minute. Wait, it's actually an immune shield. Like, completely. My health bar is not moving. At all. This dude's completely focused on me, so now my teammates can completely annihilate the Hydra, and he's not even going to touch him. I'm very curious to see how that damage resistance is going to hold up in the higher waves when we're 15, 20 power levels down. But so far, that is... I mean, it almost feels clickbait to be like, oh, you want the immune shield that a boss has? Oh, well, this build gives that to you. Like, that almost sounds not real, but based on that, that is the complete 100% honest truth. So I really want to find an enemy that does arc damage as well, because I actually didn't know that. What? Wait a minute. I really want to find an enemy that deals arc damage because I actually wasn't aware that you get the Risk Runner Arc Conductor damage resistance buff even if you're not holding it. I always thought it had to at least be in your hands. Okay, so first things first, let's woo! All those guys are dead. Literally killed every single one. So that's kind of cool. And so I think the idea, once again, right, is we're just going to sit here and block and soak all the aggro from the boss. And my two teammates here in this situation, they are a Blade Barrage Hunter and a Brood Weaver Warlock. So very high DPS builds that don't really have a crazy amount of survivability. Definitely more focused on dealing a ton of damage. So I think we're kind of complementing each other really well because we're truly like an MMO style composition where we have a tank and we have 2 DPS, get in the face of the boss and soak up all of the damage. And meanwhile, my other 2 teammates, they're just completely safe behind me. So I'm going to try and get in the face of the boss right now so it's completely focused on me. As you can see, it's doing pretty much 0 damage, and that's just going to let my teammates absolutely wail on it. And look, check this out now. So I've got my restoration times 2, thanks to hitting something with my sword after blocking and getting perfect guard times 100 stacks. So now I'm basically free to fight and not really be concerned about where I take any damage from, because nothing is going to kill me if I have restoration times 2 for 16 seconds, at least during that 16-second duration, right? Let's get our Glacier Grenade down. The AoE effect of the Glacier Grenade is pretty crazy. Got some Supplicants coming on, so I'm just going to pull out my sword and tank all of them. And I'm trying to ramp up my perfect guard stacks at the current moment. So I'm going to try and get in the face of the Harpy. Not the Harpy, the Hydra. And let it blast me so I get those perfect guard stacks. And if I sit in the fire, I get them super quickly. Now, we didn't actually have to put those perfect guard stacks to use, since the boss, of course, died. But I feel like that's going to feel really, really nice in future waves where I can kind of run up, get times 100 perfect guard stacks while soaking all the aggro for my teammates. Now, I know that they recommended Risk Runner for the build, but I will definitely say, I think the damage resistance on this build is probably high enough that you don't need another 50% damage resistance with Risk Runner. So, while you totally could run Risk Runner with this if you wanted to, I definitely wouldn't say it's necessary. I think all you really need for this build is a sword, Wither Horde for your exotic slot instead of the Risk Runner. I think that would feel fantastic because you can pull out the Wither Horde, shoot it at a boss to make it deal damage over time, and then you can pull the sword out and block while the Wither Horde is doing damage over time, and you're obviously invincible because nothing's going to be able to kill you while you're blocking with the sword. So that might be a cool way to get some damage in while you're blocking. Just some thoughts. Also, once you do get Arc Conductor, you can kind of go on a rampage, because obviously Arc Conductor gives Risk Runner, like, basically infinite ammo. Oh my god. So anytime you freeze an enemy and then slide through them, it completely sends them flying. Oh, come on, shoot the fire. There we go. And then I'll just sit in it, perfect guard, and then we go to 100, restoration times 2 for 16 seconds. Like, this guy's not gonna kill me. Nope. I'm good. I feel like this build definitely has a bit of a mastery curve to it as well, which I always like for any build. I think this is one that's going to feel really rewarding the more you use it, because I think there's definitely some mastery to be had when it comes to knowing when you want to be in like full defensive sword blocking mode versus go a little bit more offensive, get that restoration buff going and start ooh, I wonder if we can do that. So we'll throw the grenade, we'll block. Well, no, because you can't sprint while you're blocking, and you need to sprint to be able to do the slide. I wonder how it feels. Okay, so let's see how long it takes to pull the sword up into block after we slide. So if we do that and I hold block immediately after, it definitely takes a little bit of time, where I see what you're saying. You're kind of saying throw the Glacier Grenade, slide, and then we can block. Yeah, honestly, by the time the enemies like get aggro on you, since they now see you after you've broken through the stasis crystals, it's more than enough time to get the block up. So let's get the restoration going. Then we can kill this wizard. Looks like we have one more wizard to dispatch, and it is finishable. We'll hop over here. Get those perfect guard stacks up nice and high. Okay, so now we're at 100 perfect guard stacks. Now we do need to get... Okay, so we didn't use them, and we didn't get hit by anything for too long, so we lost all our stacks. That's why they went away right there. But you do get 2 stacks per hit. If you're in a big clump of enemies, it doesn't take a very long time to get stacked up. So now that we're at 100, boom, we'll hit that enemy. I want to go ahead and get in here so I don't die to the pervading darkness. Yeah, the only way we really take damage is if enemies are shooting at us from behind. So you're saying make sure to keep your distance while in the super, because that gets all of the crystals on the boss, so you get more shatters on him. Alright, taking a little bit of heat, so we'll pull out the sword. I feel like the best way to play this part is just, what's up, Screeves? That is comical. See, even on leg number 3, the glacier grenades and the cryoplasm slides are still honestly doing a lot of work. Okay, I'm definitely going to want to get my perfect guard stacks up, so I'm going to let all of these enemies just kind of wail on me. There's my times 100. And with that, pretty much immune. Yeah, the damage is very impressive, considering we're on the 3rd leg right now. So I'm going to try to get these trash mobs over here. I see a Screeve. I'm going to try and trick the Screeves into blowing up. So they think they can kill me or whatever. And let's get a cryoplasm going. You get a surprisingly, like, you get like 6 to 8 seconds of restoration, even if you proc the perfect guard stacks at a low number. Oh, we got a big boss. Dude. I mean, that's crazy. Let's get the super going. Okay, so I'm gonna stay far away from him. Oh, I see. So you want to be far enough away so that all 3 rows of the crystal break on the boss. I'm trying to find... That damage is good. Oh, we can use this to soak up some perfect guard stacks. Perfect guard stacks going. If we bait the boss's stomp, it'll create some fire. Ooh, let's get the super going. Okay, so I'm gonna stand... I think I need to be a little bit closer, maybe? Maybe not that close. Yeah, see how all of the crystals basically went past the boss? Too close. We want all of these to be landing right on the boss. So I think I was a little too close because all the crystals were going past. All right, I think my teammates are taking a little too much heat. So let me help them with some of that aggro. Look at it. So not only look at the boss just absolutely wailing on me, look at all the enemies from the balcony also shooting their little discs at me too. And we're gonna mix a swing in here and there to get restoration. Restoration ×2. Yeah, it's this is pretty amazing. And then I'm gonna get in its face and just face tank it like this. Get a little swipe in for the restoration ×2. And the boss, this boss usually hurts a lot too, and their gun is annoying because it has tracking bullets. But look, it's literally spinning. It's spinning in circles because it doesn't know what to do. It's like, wait, there's this dude right in front of me, and he is taking 0 damage whatsoever. Maybe I'll go shoot his friend. Oh, but the other guy's right in front of me. I think... Oh, no! Where this build loses DPS in the sense that one of your players is just always blocking the boss's face, it gains DPS on the other side of the coin thanks to the fact that your teammates don't have to worry about getting shot at by the boss whatsoever, which means they are allowed to focus exclusively on running very high damage builds that don't have any survivability on them. And they're allowed to focus exclusively on just nuking the boss during a DPS phase, as opposed to maybe having to be a little bit more concerned about their positioning or stepping out if they're a little low on HP or things of that nature. And I think we're seeing that in real time, as this is one of the fastest coil runs I've ever been a part of, which is kind of crazy to think of considering that I'm not really hitting anything. So if you're worried that this build is going to turn all of your activities into just lasting forever, I don't think you have to worry about that too much, because sure, you as the tank are not really doing a whole lot of damage to enemies, but thanks to the fact that you're sacrificing your damage, it's enabling all of your allies to basically focus on nothing but damage. I love that you can boost jump while you're blocking too. You can kind of manipulate your boost jump so you kind of hover in air mid-block. So if you have like a taller enemy like we did with that wyvern right there, you can still just kind of sit in its face and soak everything, because you can use your jump while blocking. It doesn't take your block away to any hydras. Oh, there's a wyvern. Wait, if I freeze the wyvern... Oh! He's got magnetic feet! Okay, we're just gonna back off a little bit. I'm gonna try and sneak in and get a sword. Oh, got some supplicants. Let's let the supplicants blow up, actually. We'll bait them all in. I definitely want to get a sword swing, though, so I get my restoration. There we go. Then we got a wyvern walking down the center. Oh! Saved my teammate behind me. So right now I'm tanking so that my teammate behind me can just focus on damaging the wyvern. This is the final leg of the coil, by the way. So, this is about as high as the damage can get. And as you can see, our HP bar is completely maxed out the entire time. Woo! Okay, so you do have an immunity shield, just not underneath you. No, okay. Learn some new things. Oh. This will be a really good litmus test for how well this build really tanks, because this is probably by far the most painful boss in the coil. 0 damage, 0 damage. Okay, so we're definitely taking a little bit more heat, but it's not that big of a deal, because if we time it right and we swing our sword in between his shots, then we get our perfect guard stacks going, we get our restoration times too, and then we can just go back to sitting in front of him. I wonder if I can, like, bait this guy to walking where I want him to walk. Whoa! Okay, I think he shot the bullets over me and they splashed behind me right there. That's what it seemed like happened. Let's get the super on, too. Okay, I think I need to walk up a little bit more. I think I might just be crap with this super. I think I'm just not good at using it. I just realized this because I haven't really had to res anyone because I'm just tanking and so no one's died, but this also makes it so that you can literally res any of your teammates in any situation. So if you're in like a Grandmaster Nightfall, for example, and one of your teammates dies in a really, really bad spot, it doesn't really matter because you can just pull your sword out and block and go res them. Okay, I hear a lot of supplicants. Come on. Try me. Let's get a Glacier Grenade down. Oh, everything despawned. Oh, that would have been such a satisfying Glacier Grenade. Anyway, will it build? Absolutely, yes. I know previously in the video, the one thing I mentioned is that I was curious if I would rather run the Whisper of Rhyme somewhere in here so I can get overshield from the stasis shards. That is still something I might consider. However, in running the build, I'm feeling like Rhyme isn't nearly as potent as I maybe originally thought it would be, just because you're taking so little damage in the first place, and you have such easy ways to heal it all back with the restoration times 2 from the perfect guard stacks. Definitely a build that y'all should go ahead and take out. If you are ever someone who struggles with a Grandmaster Nightfall or things of that nature, I think this is 100% the build to go and use because you can't die. Definitely a winner. Definitely a really fun one. Thank you so much for the submission. And if you want me to try out your build in one of these episodes, make sure that you submit yours in the Will It Build channel in my Discord server, linked in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, have a great day.